Are you sick and tired of being sick and tired? Are you sick of being overweight? Are you sick of not feeling well? Are you sick and tired of having pain all the time? Are you sick and tired of feeling like crap? Are you sick and tired of the brain fog or the lack of energy or simply just being overweight all the time and you can't figure out why? Why is it so hard to lose weight? Are you sick and tired of not being healthy? I had my aha moment a couple months ago. I'm going to show you today in pictures why, as a society, we are all of those things. Hey, welcome to today's video. This is Jeff at KM Carnivore. Today we are going to talk about the inconvenient truth in the carnivore diet. So this video today is titled The Inconvenient Truth in the Carnivore Diet. I'm going to try to explain why, in very simple terms, why the carnivore diet is so successful with so many issues that people are suffering from. And it's very, very simple if you can wrap your head around about what I'm going to show you. It is unfortunately the inconvenient truth, as much as we don't want to admit it. We have been lied to for years and years and years by big food and big pharma, and it is time to take our bodies back and our health back in our own hands. You are addicted to carbs. I was addicted to carbs. You just don't know it. The inconvenient truth is your body wants 4 grams of sugar dissolved in it at any given time. 4 grams, that is your homeostasis level. That is where your blood wants to be. And your body will do everything in its power to regulate that and keep that even. Because if you have too much sugar, it'll kill you. If you have too little sugar, it'll kill you. And here's another inconvenient truth, is when you put too much sugar in your body, the insulin is released to take it out of the blood sugar, and it can only do 2 things with it. It is designed to push it into your cells to use as energy, or push it into your fat cells as storage for use later. So what happens is when you take in way too much sugar, the insulin spikes really high because your body is saying, holy crap, I got to get that out of my blood system. It's not good for me. And the insulin spikes, and the only thing it can do is one of 2 things. It either has to push it into your muscle cells to use as energy, or it has to push it into fat cells for storage. So what happens when your muscle cells are full? Well, the only other place it can go is fat storage, or it stays in your blood and your A1C continues to go up and you end up with prediabetes or diabetes. So it's really important to understand that as we put in too much sugar at any given meal, that's what is happening. It is either the insulin shoots up and it either goes into muscle storage or it goes into fat storage. Some of it gets burned right away, but very little, especially if you're not out running a marathon or exercising a lot or doing a lot of walking or something like that. Okay? So with that said, remember, the insulin pushes it into your cells. It either pushes it into your muscle cells or it pushes it into your fat cells. Dr. Bickman explains that really, really well in a bunch of his videos. I urge you to go watch Dr. Bickman and check that out. He does a really good job of explaining how that works. All right, so my aha moment, I was watching a Dr. Zoe Harcombe as a guest on Jesse Chappus's YouTube channel.
You've touched on the weight gain piece a few times there, but let's take that even further and talk about spiking blood glucose, raising insulin, and then driving this extra energy into fat cells and causing all kinds of issues that way.
Yeah, so when you tell people at conferences, there are a few things that you say at a conference, and you're always looking for the audience reaction. And one of the ones that gets a sort of sit up, if not a bit of a gasp, is when you tell people you've got 1 teaspoon of sugar in your bloodstream at any one time, 4 grams of glucose in the entire bloodstream, in 5 litres of blood or whatever. And they look really sort of quite taken aback. And then the body has got this incredible mechanism. You've got the pancreas releasing insulin to take glucose out of the bloodstream and glucagon to put glucose back into the bloodstream. So you've got this incredible mechanism, until we abuse it, that is keeping that blood glucose level at that sort of 4 grams per the entire body.
I'm a 54-year-old who, for the first time, finally heard how much sugar is actually dissolved in our blood in the average size human, and that actually blew my mind. That number is 4 grams of glucose. 4. That is all your blood wants in it at any given time. That is the homeostasis level of your glucose in your blood, of exactly where your body wants to be for the average 156-pound person. Obviously, if you're 250, you're probably 6 grams or 7 grams. If you're 100 pounds, it's less than that. But that's just the average, so we're just going to use 4 as our average. That's not my number. That came from this video clip here of Dr. Zoe Harcombe. You can Google it. You can find it on YouTube. But that is the number of what it should be. So when that light bulb went on, it made perfect sense why humans as a society are obese, sick, full of disease of multiple kinds, and why there's such an epidemic going on in the medical industry in the United States, in the Western world, why we're all basically insulin resistant. I watched one doctor the other day. She feels like as a society, we're 99% of the population is insulin resistant, which I can get that because we have been told and lied to that we need to have a giant percentage of our daily diet be carbohydrates, which is absolutely not true, and absolutely why our bodies are telling us to stop. You just have to listen. Your body at the end of the day is screaming at you to pay attention. Okay, there's a reason why when you have a giant meal, you feel like crap. It's because your body doesn't want that. I didn't realize that until I went on the carnivore diet. I all of a sudden got it, right? And I am 16 months in, and I can eat a nice big steak dinner and get out and not get tired. I don't have the insulin crash. I don't have that lethargic, oh my God, I just want to sit on the couch and do nothing feeling. After watching all of the doctors that I've watched, and I'm going to have a list of them here, I recommend you guys watch as many of these videos as you can. They are all beating the same drum, which is insulin, and insulin resistance is the main metabolic issue going on with the majority of us, and probably you if you're watching this video. So we're going to go through some things here. Again, this is not me. I'm just a messenger here because I feel like we need to all wake up. Since glucose is the simplest carbohydrate, then 1 gram of glucose equals 1 gram of carbohydrate. And it doesn't matter what kind of carbohydrate it is. There are complex and simple, but at the end of the day, they're going to break down to glucose in your blood. Some take longer, some go right in. But at the end of the day, for this video, we are going to do 1 gram of glucose equals 1 gram of carbohydrate to keep it simple. Remember, your blood only wants 4 grams dissolved in it at any given time. Okay? And it does say here, not all carbohydrates are pure glucose. For example, lactose, the carbohydrate in milk, is composed of glucose plus galactose. Sucrose, or table sugar, is comprised of glucose plus fructose. And there's a bunch of good videos on fructose. I just watched a great video by Dr. Robert Lustig. He was on Diary of a CEO, and he really got into the fructose part and why that is so bad for us, what it's doing to the mitochondria, and why it's basically killing us slowly. For whatever reason, your body goes below that, your liver will make glucose in a process called gluconeogenesis, where it is going to take protein and turn it into sugar. I am not an expert on that. I know that's what's going on. You can find lots of videos. You're looking for the more scientific version of that, but the main thing is to remember 4 grams is where we want to be. What I'm going to do here is I'm going to go through some of my favorite going out to eat foods as I grew up, and this is really going to be interesting as a visual for you guys to really see what we were doing or what I was doing to my body. Like crazy. So one of my favorite things growing up was Pizza Hut. I loved it. I loved it as a teenager. I loved it all growing up into my 20s and 30s. So what I did is I went and pulled the nutritional value of my typical Pizza Hut meal. I would typically have 2 pieces of garlic bread. One, and this is right off of the Pizza Hut website, 1 piece of garlic bread has 29 carbs, 29 grams of carbohydrates in 1 piece of garlic bread. I would have 2 of those. I would typically have 1 or 2, depending, 16-ounce fountain mug root beers. Total carbohydrates, 52 grams. 52 total sugars in 1 16-ounce. And so what if I had 2 of those? And I had 2 pieces of garlic bread and I didn't even get to the pizza yet. A lot of times we had pan pizza. That was what Pizza Hut was known for. Supreme large original pan slice. 37 grams of carbohydrates per slice. And I would have 4 or 5 slices. So let me recap. I would have 2 pieces of garlic bread, 29 grams each. I would have 2 mug root beers at 52 grams each, and then I would have 4 pieces of pan pizza at 37 grams each. So in that meal alone, I would have 310 grams of carbohydrates, or 310 grams of glucose or sugar, because at the end of the day, that all breaks down to glucose in my blood. My body wants to be at 4, and I just put in 310 grams. That equates to 77.5 times the amount of glucose that my body actually wants. 77 times. Think about that. 77 times. That's crazy. And that's 1 meal. And I did that for 53 years. No wonder I was sick and insulin resistant and felt like crap all the time. I did that over and over and over. One of my other favorite meals was McDonald's, of course. Who doesn't like McDonald's, right? And this is what I typically had at McDonald's. I would have a Big Mac. I would have a supersize fry, and I would have a supersize Dr. Pepper. You just had 186 grams of carbohydrates, which equates to 46.5 times the amount of sugar or glucose that your body actually wants. Now, what if you went to McDonald's for lunch and you had 186 grams of carbs, and then, because you know it's a Friday night or Saturday night, you go out with the family to Pizza Hut, and now you have 310 grams of carbohydrates. I did that more than one time, where I would go out to eat for lunch, and then we would go out as a family to Pizza Hut because we loved Pizza Hut back in the day. If you did that, and I'm just doing some math here quick, 310 plus 186, 496 grams of carbs divided by 4 is 124 times the amount of carbs that my body actually wanted. And I'm not even talking about breakfast yet. Here's another, up here in Wisconsin, we have a restaurant chain called Culver's. I know they're spreading rapidly here in the US. And this is another example of something that we would do up here. I would go there and have a spicy, crispy chicken sandwich because those are really, really good. Those have 58 grams of carbs in them. I would also typically have large onion ring because I like onion rings better than French fries. Those have a whopping 88 grams carbohydrates in them. And then for fun, because you got to have dessert, or I would typically have a concrete mixer, which is kind of like a malt, a medium one, not a super big one, but that would be another 82 grams of carbohydrates. And Culver's also has a mug root beer, so I would typically have, one root beer, my spicy chicken sandwich, a thing of onion rings, and then a concrete mixer for a total of 280 grams of carbohydrates. 70 times the amount of sugar that my body actually wants. 70 times. Crazy. All right, so this is part one of a two-part series. So what I'd like to do is engage with you and have you put down in the comments below your favorite going out to eat meal. I'm going to take 5 or 6 of those comments and do a second video showing your example and showing basically what I did with the cubes of sugar, so you get a better idea of how much sugar you're actually sitting down to eat. Just like I had my aha moment with the 4 grams of sugar, I'm hoping you have that aha moment too when you really sit down and look at the sugar cubes and what you're really sitting down to eat at the end of the day, because your cells don't distinguish the difference between, ooh, Pizza Hut and this tastes fantastic and oh my God, I love this, versus what it really breaks down to and the sugar overload that you put your body in at almost every meal. So my question to you is, would you sit down and eat 489 grams of sugar in sugar cubes at one sitting? Would you sit down and eat this picture right here? My guess is no. I certainly wouldn't. However, that's what happens. I really want you guys to wrap your head around how this is working with the insulin and your liver and where your body really wants to be. To me, it's a crucial part of this story of why so dependent on pills and medicine, when in reality, if you just let your body go back to natural levels of sugar, your body is a miracle and will heal itself if just given the opportunity. Leave your favorite meal down below. Please hit the subscribe button, and please share this video with everyone you know on every social media platform that you guys have. We really need to keep the momentum going within the carnivore and low carb community. Please share this. Please leave your comments below. I look forward to going through them. I look forward to making the second video for you guys. With that said, have a great day.